Hey, what is going on, guys? It's the SS Ultimate Goku back in another video to do my Attack on Titan episode 80 English dub review. So, as you guys know, we treat this as if this is the first time you've seen it. This is a dub channel, so we do have the pending up for the time being while this season is currently going on. Um, for all comments. So the last episode was pretty bad. Um, from the stuff that we learned last week about Eren and whatnot, and this episode gets a little more clarity about everything, but still kind of screwed up nonetheless. I mean, Eren was like supposed to be like a hero, then an anti-hero, and then like a douche, and then a villain, and they really kind of screwing things up, if you ask me, with his character. Um, so nonetheless, the episode picks up where it left off with Zeke and Eren's father. He's crying. They show even more gruesomeness of the royal family being killed. They even showed a scene with the kid there getting squashed, which was fucking ridiculous. In my opinion, they did not need to show that. You know what I mean? Just show the adults getting killed there. You know what I mean? Freaking stupid. You know what I mean? Um, Terrible scene in my opinion there. Um, Nonetheless, um, Zeke, he learns from the father that his father, what happened of him getting Eren giving him the visions of what he wanted to see from the Attack Titan, and freaking eventually it gets cut out and they go back to the other dimension from the flashback there. But before that, Zeke gets hugged by the father and says he has to stop Eren and whatnot there. So they go back to the dimension, and Eren says, I wish we could have stayed longer and whatnot. However, it was revealed that Eren put specific visions in there to ensure that he was going to do what he was going to do. But then Eren basically says that if it hadn't been for Zeke, giving him the visions of everything, that he wouldn't have been able to pull it off there or whatnot. So that's why he was able to do it again. As I said last week, this is a terrible time paradox done wrong. Um, you know what I mean there? They're trying to steal the idea from Terminator, but they did it horribly wrong there. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, just not really good execution whatsoever on this. So then, Zeke is Eren's still chained up or whatever with his hands or whatever, and this leads to, them talking about it and, what he had done, you know, to the father, manipulating him, and then Zeke is still horrified by the whole thing, and so then he just like yells at the founder, the Ymir founder person, to do what his plan is to make sure no one gets pregnant anymore. So then she starts walking there. She's got like the screwed up eyes or whatever, I guess. She starts walking towards there, and then Eren, who's chained up still, he like freaking like breaks his hands or whatever to get out. from the chains or whatever. He slids him through, so his hands are all screwed up. Not that it matters since they can regenerate anyways. You know what I mean? But he gets his hands through and whatnot, and so then he starts running up to Ymir, pleading to Ymir, like he eventually hugs Ymir, and whatnot. Um, before that though, I should get into the flashback because they do the flashback of her time basically. So most of the episode covers this whole thing with the Ymir and the founder Titan, how they set up the origins of her. So basically, the founder Ymir was basically a slave for this king or whatever, and they're very vague on the stuff there, but basically she set an animal free or whatever, and they all accused her of it, and because of that, he basically sentenced her to freedom, but in reality it was just basically the other people like attacking her with arrows and stuff like that. She's blamed for the pig escape. I'm sorry, specifically the pigs being escaped, which all of them were threatened to lose one of their eyes if they hadn't come forward to who it was. And so that was Ymir. Ymir was basically the one that was pointed the finger to by everybody. So she was chased after with arrows. She eventually falls to this flower thing, and then she gets up and she goes into this tree thing, and she slides through and whatnot with the tree as she is hunted down. And basically, when she falls into this tree branch pool thing, she basically turns into the Titan. She's still treated as a slave, but she's now the founder Titan. She destroys the Marlene army and expands the Eldian kingdom there, you know what I mean? How this whole story began. She has kids with the king or whatever. I believe 3 she has. However, once she has the kids, she has the 3 daughters. She sacrifices herself for the king. When there was a spear thrown at her, and then the children are ordered to eat her body or whatever, so their descendants can keep passing on the power of the Titan, yada yada yada. We know this already, we've been told this, we just didn't know how or who started it. So basically this is how it happened. Frizard, Ymir, she basically starts it all, ladies and gentlemen. She starts it all. And so that's what happens there. She was basically manipulated to this king or whatever. She was still a slave to him, even though he was using her as a tool to expand the army or whatever. So that's basically how it started. It does not really answer that many questions, because if I'm remembering correctly there, didn't all the royal family people get brainwashed or whatever to follow what the king wants to do or whatever? So, like, the king didn't have any powers, so like how is this, like, you know what I mean? It's just like if the female was the one that had the power all along, it kind of doesn't make sense there, you know what I mean? They kind of have a little plot hole there as well. Um, but that's the origins they give us. Very vague, but enough to kind of get the story, I guess. But again, as I said, after that, you know, Zeke gave the order to do this. Not have the subjects of Ymir to be pregnant anymore. Eren runs or gets out of the chains with basically his arms are all screwed up now. He freaking runs up to Ymir and basically hugs her and tells her, you don't have to do what they want anymore. He offers her to choose her freedom and her future for the first time in her life, even though she's been dead for centuries now. Um, then you get to actually see her eyes, her real eyes. She's like crying and stuff like that. She's never had her freedom. She was a slave her whole life. So because of that, she ignores Zeke as the royal blood, and she decides her future with Eren. And so because of that, then when we get to the where the actual people are, you see Eren's head, being caught by Zeke, and then you see like the spinal thing or whatever there on Eren's neck, which leads to the him creating this new Titan form that Eren has, and that then leads to these colossal Titans that are in the walls to basically havoc. Everyone's shocked and stunned. You see pictures of everybody from the army people to Gabby, Falco, Eren, and or not Eren, Armin and Mikasa. You hear them basically talking about, I told you he was still on her side, but then Armin's like to Mikasa is, well, why are there this many? We don't need this many to take out all their armies, the mainland army. But then it was shortly after discovered, and before I even get to that part, I should mention about the public disclaimer, the information available for public disclaimer. This was actually not during the commercial break. They did this actually after the commercial break, and it wasn't on that for that long. It was kind of weird because usually this is during the commercial break. But here it is, quote, "The origins of the Titans. According to legends, the founder Ymir obtained the powers of the Titans when coming into contact with someone. For generations, her blood and power were passed down by the Eldians. However, the identity of something which began it all remained unknown. It may have been some type of pathological parasite, a god who praised the founder Ymir and gave her power, or something else entirely." So they're telling us now that I guess it's unknown, that it was unknown all this time about how it all started, even though we've been kind of told differently from other people, but I guess it was unknown. They didn't know the whole story. They only knew a little bit of it. So, you know what I mean there? Quite interesting, to say the least there. But anyway, so that was the public information for disclaimer that they gave us. And Armin also, when he's yelling the stuff out to Mikasa, she has no idea what he's talking about. Like, she can't hear because everything's way too loud, I guess, with all the colossal titans out there. But Armin's like, what is he doing? He's got too many. He has more than enough to wipe out the army. Why would he need more? And then we see everybody, Mikasa, Armin, Gabby, Falco, everybody pretty much is teleported to this dimension. And Eren speaks to them telepathically and basically tells them that his plan is not just to wipe out the mainland army, but he's trying to wipe out every person in the mainland, and only wants to protect everybody in his island, on the island, because he holds the mainland people morally responsible for everything that happened. Very, very controversial decision, because he doesn't want to just, again, take out the army. He wants to take everyone else out from the mainland, because he believes that if he doesn't take them out, that they're going to grow up and continue to try to take him out later. So basically, he says, he is going to take out anyone that isn't on the island, which again is a very subjective argument, because again, like, you know, there are a lot of people on the island that aren't actually Eldians. Like, for example, Mikasa and Levi are Ackermans. You know what I mean there? So it's a very subjective, but he specifically says island. But then there are also people on the mainland who are Eldians. Very, very subjective, if you ask me, on his wording there. You know what I mean? So Parody has fallen. Basically, Zeke's followers are trembling there, because they know that Zeke's plan is failed. Rhina rushes to Gabby, and this is, again, it transforms into the Titans. There was that one scene where they travel. This was actually before the Rhina scene happens before the telepathic announcement. Eren talks to subjects of Ymir, and basically, his thing is to basically exterminate any life beyond the island. He wants every mainland person gone, basically. Because the main island land. He wants them all exterminated, because every nation is basically against them. So they're basically like, well, we gotta take them all out. It's a very subjective thing, because there's hate going on both of them, but Eren just wants to eliminate the problem entirely. Besides just the army. But at the same time, though, you know, I was thinking about this all night when I heard this, because I was like, that is such a dick move to do that. Because it's like, dude, what did they do to you? And then I think about it, but all these people literally want every island citizen exterminated. So they want what basically Eren is doing. So there is basically no difference in what Eren's doing to what they're doing, because they want to do the same thing that they're doing. They're doing the same thing, because if you think about it, when we started seeing the mainland people, they clearly wanted to exterminate. I mean, they were using the Eldian Titans forms, the specialty Titans forms, for tools for themselves to exterminate more Eldians. So, in a way, they're doing the same thing that Eren's doing. It's just that he's protecting his island, and they're trying to exterminate the island in general. So, it's So in this case, I don't know. I mean, is there really a winner? Is there really I don't think at this point there is a good guy, because they both want to exterminate each other. So only one's gonna win. Only one's gonna win at the end of the day. Um but yeah, Eren's very, very subjective on that. You know, on that, unfortunately. But that's how the episode ends. Um Very, very shocking to say the least. I was very surprised by this episode. Little better than last week's episode, which was terrible. But I hated the opening scene because that was not needed. The origins and whatnot, very vague, but I guess they had to speed it up. But nonetheless, this is the origins, and this is where we're at. It's basically the Eren Island will either have their civilization left, or the I guess the mainland will have their land left, because there won't be any more going forward. It'll be really interesting to see what what the island does if they take out the mainland. What are they gonna do exactly? Are they gonna take the mainland over then? Once they start, like, it makes no sense, you know what I mean? I don't think Eren really thought this through. But I just think that that's what he thought right now. But nonetheless, that is the review of the episode. Very interesting episode to see where this direction. I mean, I've not been really a fan of the direction as of late. But unfortunately, this is where we're at with Attack on Titan. Let me know what you guys think about this decision. Let me know what you guys think about the review. Comment, rate. If you like this video or my videos, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell for all the latest content. Again, when you comment, make sure you only this episode or the episodes before, not anything after, because this is an English dub channel. And again, we do have the pending thing up for the whole season. We have the pending comment thing up. So unless you're an approved member, you won't be able to get your comment up in public. Because we got to make sure that we're treating this as if this is the first time we've seen it, guys. So that's how we're doing this. Comment, rate, again, respectful comments of this episode. Yeah, that is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.